All right, while I got a moment, I'm gonna go ahead and do an update here on QQQ. I have this drawn up right here. In the last video I did, I don't remember exactly what I said. I think I was talking about this being a second wave, this being a first wave. This is an impulse move right here, but we came and invalidated that move, and then we got 5 waves up here, which should be finished. Let me double check and see. Pretty sure it's finished. We hit the 1.23 fib. If it goes up higher, the highest it can go is 416. I don't think that's going to happen though. So basically, I'm looking at this as W, and this was originally going to be X, but now that we've got a more complex correction, I have this labeled as A. Then we got A, B, C, B. And so I'm looking for a C wave down. It doesn't have to come down here all the way. If it does come down there all the way, then that's fine too, but it's an expanded flat, it looks like to me. And so I'm looking for a minimum of 407.61 to potentially all the way down here to 398. This is probably most likely. We'll probably get a running flat up into between 405.59 and 407.58 most likely. So yeah, that's what I'm looking for. That would probably take, let's see here. So this took, let's see, A took this long. Let's see, 1 day. This took 5 days, and then this took 1 day. So we're looking at about half time of this. So we're looking about 3.5 days down. So I'm looking for probably going into Monday, we're moving down. So this is probably going to play out. It should be a 5-wave move. It should be something like that. Potentially all the way down here. We'll see. But overall, I think it's an overall B wave. This took 6 days. This is going to take probably about 10 days. That's 16 days. We're looking at about 8 days up. So we're looking at probably the end of January being up higher, depending on where this ends at. So if it ends at 407, then we're looking at something around 416 to 420. So the whole move is going to be like that. So I'm looking for a move down over the next, probably tomorrow and then maybe into Monday, but maybe just tomorrow. And then starting a move higher after that. And we'll probably be, during most of the earnings, it'll probably be going higher. And we can go all the way up here to 420 again. Excuse me. The 1.61 fib, again, I showed this in previous videos, is right around 421. So I'll be buying calls down here. Depending on where it goes, I'll probably just average into them. And then I will be writing that up over the next couple of weeks. And then I think that's going to be a B wave. So I think that we're still, in my opinion, this is not a 5-wave move. It's ABC. So I think we're still looking at something like this, potentially all the way down here to 378. So the 1.61 fib of 420 is right around 378. So I think 420 is coming. And yeah, we'll see what happens here over the next day, but I'm expecting probably something down here to 407.36. Tesla, obviously the move higher was a false bottom right here, this move, because we immediately came down here, and I had this pattern drawn up yesterday. I didn't do a video, but the whole move, this whole move down has been gap downs. Gap down, chop, gap down, chop, gap down, chop, gap down. We had an intraday move down and then gap down. Reversal, chop, gap down, chop. We did not get a gap down today. We actually went up higher, and now we're moving down. And I think I said in the previous video that there's a 50 SMA around 208. I'm looking for that but probably hitting this monthly demand at this point. If the market's going to sell off more, I think we're coming down here to probably 204, 205. And that was actually one of the targets I had in a previous video where this would end up being the A wave down. So to 204, bounce, and then down here to 170, 180. So yeah. So I think that that is actually looking pretty good. It's going to have to really move though after it bottoms. I think that tomorrow we'll probably see that. We should see something down there around 204, 205, and then next week we bounce into earnings. Maybe bounce hard. It's on Wednesday, so we'll have 2 days to bounce. And like I said in that one video, I think I said it only bounced to about 224. And so 204 to 224, that's still about like a 7, 8, 9% move. And then we sell off down here to 170. And yesterday I bought some 119, 207.50 puts around 215. They made a lot of money today just as a hedge because of this pattern. I did it because of this pattern really. And then I just held on to it because I just saw this as potentially 5 waves. It's kind of a weird 5-wave move, but it looks like 5 waves potentially. If we zoom in a little bit farther, I have this as probably, this might be the end of the 3rd wave right here. I'm thinking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like that, and then bounce and then down more. That's kind of what I'm thinking on Tesla. So maybe a little bit more, and then we bounce at the end of the day and then come down. So we'll see what happens. QQQ is pulling back a little bit here. Let's just look at it on smaller time frames and see if this is correct. Yeah, so we got 5 waves here, it looks like to me. Potentially on lower time frames. Looks pretty good to me. So it needs to hold, for my thoughts on this, it's got to hold 413 basically. And then we're looking at we're probably looking at something down in this box. So 408.69. And then we're looking at bounce to 409, and then let's just see where that would take us. So somewhere around here, there's a gap here, I think. Got that gap. It's going to fill the gap, I think. So you got a gap fill right here, right into demand, and that's where I'll be buying my calls. And I mean, that could end up being just the first wave of this final move down. It kind of depends on the timing of it. If this is pretty quick and we get there by the end of the day today, it's probably not going to be, it's probably going to be one 5-wave move down. But if it were to go to 406, let's just see where that would take us. So it's possible that it's only wave 1 down also, or that's the final move. So it's either going to be like that and that's it, or it's going to be potentially farther down. So I don't know which one's going to play out, but that is definitely a demand zone to watch out for. There is a gap down here, I think, too. So it could come down here all the way to, I think 398 was the maximum though. And so I would say it's more likely we stop in here. So that is QQQ, Tesla, Coin. This is looking good for a long. Doesn't really go along with my thesis in the overall market, but A, B, C, like that. This breaks above this. This is one of my favorite patterns because then it's an ABC move. And so I'm looking at this as either A, B, C like that, or it could be a third wave as long as it holds 126.93. We're looking for a move up here to 142.55 minimum and potentially higher than that. SoFi, I'll just do a quick on this. I hate the way this stock moves because if you take profit early on this stock, it moves in straight lines, and so then you're chasing. And so that's why I hate the stock. Love the company, hate the stock, and it's coming down here in daily demand. Who knows? It keeps on extending. Who knows where it's going? It's below all the moving averages. Moving averages look good though still. You get the 20 above the 50, 50 above the 200 on both the daily and the weekly. So I'm not concerned about that at all. But it is below all the moving averages too. So I don't really care. Bring it down to $6 if you want before earnings. It doesn't really matter to me. That would actually be even better, to be honest, because then you could just load up really low and you know for a fact this move is finished. So then you're just waiting for the blast off for the next move up here to 15 to $20. So my thing is, I hope that they just keep on taking it lower into earnings. If they bounce, let's say they bounce it up here to 850 to 860, I think that's the best. Like if you're doing like game theory to take the most amount of money from people, I think that bouncing up here to 850, 840 to 860 would be a good spot to make people have to make tough decisions. They sell covered calls, take profit, and then the stock takes off. They lose a bunch of money. They don't make the full amount of money. So yeah, I don't really care what happens with this. If it keeps on coming down here, I know it's a C wave down, and so I don't really care if it comes down here to $6 because again, this pattern is playing out. Could even be a second wave too. So it's just a waiting game on SoFi. That's the only way that they can beat you if you're impatient. So what else do we got here? Apple got an upgrade, and on Apple, it's probably going up here to 191. So it's at 187.80 right now. I thought that it would probably pull back here. I think this is probably an ABC move. So yeah, I think this is almost finished, maybe a little bit higher. Maybe it'll go all the way to the 1.61 fib now. 191.66, maybe. It could go all the way up there right now. Or it could pull back here. And it could end up being a pullback and then a C wave higher. So I would say this is actually more likely based on what I think QQQ is going to do, but it is making an impulse move here, so it could just come up here to 191. If it does that, then that would be a short right there for sure, because then you've retraced this move to the 0.61 fib. That's a short right there. So again, on Apple, zooming out, this is only wave 1 in my opinion. So you got 5 waves to go, or 3 waves to go after this. Going to 157. So Apple is a short. Don't fall for the price target upgrades. Coins falling here. Again, the invalidation is below 124.80. So that would be really strange if it broke below that. I think that's it for now. I'm going to leave it at that, get back to my trading for myself, and I will talk to you guys later. I'll probably do an update later. Good luck.